So prior to this workshop, we went and we saw the First Folio, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous book, and it's behind glass, and you're kind of at a remove. And one of the purposes of this course is to really kind of engage the material and digital expressions of Shakespeare. And so with this printmaking workshop, students were able to actually touch and feel the paper, the ink, the process, and have a direct connection that they might not otherwise have just looking at something under glass. They can actually kind of really get into that material experience.
One of the main objectives of this workshop was, in a lot of ways, to establish a certain degree of historical empathy for the individuals that would have created Shakespeare's First Folio, using a lot of antique technology, but also contemporary technology, to allow students to really see that, regardless of what era something is created in, the message is always going to be dependent upon the medium, and the medium is always going to be dependent on the message. Just using Photoshop and actually a typeface called Shakespeare's First Folio, which is based on the actual, I copied and pasted it into Photoshop and sent it right to First Folio, resulting in this. This idea that it's actually stamped into paper, it's like a physical object. It exists in the world, and it's not something that's completely dependent on a screen.
Going and seeing the First Folio is one thing, but being able to take the time to place every letter for our names and then making these booklets, it gave it a new kind of meaning, and so if I went back and saw the folio now, I would definitely look at it in a different way.
I have a theory that the history of the world started to tank when the fax machine was invented, because we've just become such a society of immediate gratification. So yes, you have like a new appreciation for just the gentle nature of the process and how the eye to detail and everything that had to be done, and take your time, not rush, 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 rush.
It took us so long just to do this, like all these names right here. And to imagine that someone's creating a 900-page thing.
And so I think this really opened their minds. They were so excited every time to go and to be able to actually create versus just kind of looking at something from a distance.
But it was her second time.
Okay.
Show it to the camera.
Yeah, it's already done.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's so very nice.
It's elegant. It's hella elegant.
To actually physically get to touch things and put it together in such an interesting, detailed way was really cool, especially for me because I'm such a tactile learner.
You can actually feel the engravings from them being pressed down. It's a lot more of a beautiful process, and I appreciate it.
Okay, just this an honest moment.
Yeah.
Not being the biggest fan of Shakespeare, this gave me a newfound appreciation for it. So I like printmaking as well. It's cool.
Anything else? Like why printmaking? What about it? Why is it cool? Tell me why it's cool.
I think printmaking is really cool because it gives you a first-hand experience with like tactileness and like being able to touch the ink and mess up and like give character to the words and make the words come to life.
Allowing them the opportunity to set type themselves, to ink type themselves, to handle and fold paper themselves. It really establishes this creative context for understanding an enormous history that is incredibly important when understanding the production of something such as Shakespeare's First Folio.
And that's what this is all about.